What is up, amigos? Today we're looking at how air can bend car panels. And when we think about cars, let's say we have a regular car on the road here, we often think of it as just a fairly rigid body. But that's not necessarily the case. So let's say we have the wheels here and the air is coming along and it flows over. So what happens is that as the air flows over, it often accelerates, and depending on where it hits the car, it may accelerate or decelerate. But on the roof, for example, the flow does accelerate, and we know that if the flow increases in velocity, the pressure drops, and that comes from mass flow rate and Bernoulli's equation, etc. If you don't know about that, check out this video here. So if we get a drop in pressure, that means that this surface here is now experiencing a lower pressure, trying to force it up. And this can also happen around the door areas and even around the trunk and the hood. So having low pressure here can then result in the panels actually moving. And is this a bad thing? Well, it can be. There are a couple of different ways that this can affect a car's performance. One example is, let's say we take the door panels. And the doors are coming up like this, and they will seal into the rest of the car. And this seal is very important for a number of reasons. One in particular is sound. So the better the seal is, the less road noise can propagate into the actual car, and the people who are in there won't hear it. But if you have these panels now and they start to flex out, the seal will start to mismatch, and this little rubber grommet there will start to get stretched, and then sound can come in. That means that the noise you will hear inside the car is greater, and that reduces its comfort, its driving quality. Now, in addition to that, actually flexing the panels out a little bit can also change the aerodynamics of the car. And it can also change, for example, let's say at the back here, it can make something squarer and we get a different vortex pattern or different flow separation pattern, or it can even make it rounder depending on the car, which means that the flow will stay attached longer and we may not even get this vortex in the very extreme cases. Now, this is again a very extreme case, and most of the time this doesn't happen, but it can happen. More likely, the noise is really the major problem here. But there is an additional problem if we look at the dynamic side of things. So because these panels in cheaper quality cars are quite thin and they can move, if you have the air going over and the pressure starts to fluctuate, these panels will then start to vibrate. And then that results in even more noise being generated. And that can also mess with flow measurements. For example, I have a friend who a few years ago, she was looking at the pressures on a door panel in particular, and she had all these pressure sensors around, and fortunately this car, the panel was quite thick, but if it was thinner, the pressure that she was measuring here would start to change, and the frequencies that she was measuring would change as well, because she would also be picking up not only the frequencies of the vortices that are being shed here, but also the vortices of the door. And unfortunately, from the data that I saw of her initial measurements, this wasn't the case, but it could be, and this would then result in trying to determine what these vortices were, where they were coming from, would be much harder, because you then start to get this corruption of the vibration of the door impacting it. So that is how air can actually bend panels of cars and have the effects on not only the car's performance, but also the people inside, whether they'll be happy or sad. So that is the end of this video. Make sure to like it, and if you want to see more like this, click the subscribe button, and I'll see you next video. Peace, amigos.